All right, guys, out here on a day of new, I have a new skid lid, as you can see, a turtle shell, very much sick bastard approved, I imagine. Had the skulls on it. I probably would have went for a dome one, but at the time they didn't have a dome one. But I like the turtle shells. This is actually the second turtle shell helmet I've owned. But as you can see, I built a new bone for the mic that I can take it right off of the helmet. If you would like for me to tell you how to build yourself a boom for a wireless microphone so you can ride in a skid lid, jump down in the comments or hit me on Facebook Messenger and I will talk about it. So right now, I've got another new for you, a new wrestling story. So let's dive into it.
Tbone roars like a thunderstorm blast, engine growling as the trees rush past, wheels on fire climb the mountain's face, the legend rides with a reckless grace. Tbone's shadow cuts the sky through the peaks where
All right, guys, welcome back to Rolling with Tbone. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to call these wrestling series. Saturdays, I don't know, what do you think? Saturday evening slams with Tbone or something like that? Oh man, beautiful weather, guys. Right now we're hitting early fall, late summer, early fall here in North Georgia. And guys, right now is just a perfect time for being a biker, as you see. So the first wrestling story, y'all seem to respond pretty good too. But I know some of y'all ain't wanting to hear about me refereeing a match for other guys. You want to hear some Tbone wrestling stories. Well, let's see what we can do about that. I guess to start it, I'll just start where a lot of people don't know locally here, because I didn't actually start my wrestling career here locally. So a lot of people don't even know how I got started in wrestling or anything like that. So I grew up in wrestling from a young kid. I was introduced to wrestling, independent wrestling, television wrestling. I had family who wrestled. My Uncle Dig, Cousin Moochie, Uncle Moochie, cousins, and just me and my brothers, we trained. So I've always been kind of in the wrestling business, brought up in it, I guess, kind of, you could say. So when I trained back in the old days, when you got trained, you got pretty well much just beat. That was, beat down, beat around, beat to death. You just got beat. So a lot of the training wasn't inside a training facility. On the independent circuit, you would train on the ground. A lot of the technical stuff you would train on the ground, but every now and then when you had to start learning like hip tosses, arm drags, suplexes, backflips, you had to learn that using either a ring, but if a ring wasn't available, they would find an old mattress and wrap it with a tarp, and that would be your wrestling ring, an old mattress. And you would always hope for a king size pillow top mattress, but you usually ended up with a queen size with broken springs. But that's how you would train back in the day when I was coming into the business. You would train like that on a mattress or on the ground. So in my training, when it began, sorry guys, I know I keep kind of messing with that, but I would kind of sit back and I would watch what everybody was doing. And I noticed real quick that if you had a pretty good head on your shoulders, meaning you were listening to what was being told to you, you understood what they were talking about, not necessarily that you were building ring psychology, per se, but you could comprehend what you were being showed. They could show you something and you were like, okay, I get that. I think I understand what this is. So you would train that way. Now, there was people in my life that came around and trained. Like I said, I would get showed a move set, and my brothers would train with me and help me work on it. At one time, and I have two twin brothers that are younger than me, but at one time, me and my brothers could have hit the ring with me. We could have went in ready to go, but they didn't choose to wrestle, and that's fine. I get that. I understand that. Nothing but respect for that. Not everybody, who sees it is like I was. I was enamored by wrestling from the start. So we would train. Now, I would get thrown around by a guy called Moondog Rex. If you ever heard of the Moondogs here in the South, a lot of people know who the Moondogs are. Those guys absolutely were maniacs. I'll just be honest with you. The Moondogs were just absolute maniacs. They were old school, old-fashioned hillbilly wrestlers. They drank moonshine, smoked dope, and chased women. That's what they did. But man, you talk about great wrestlers. And they all, they were a big group of them, and they all had good ring psychology. I mean, if you could get them talking to you about it, they had real good ring psychology. But so we ended up one night in Knoxville, Tennessee. The training went on for a while. We ended up one night in Knoxville, Tennessee at a small independent show. And in the business of pro wrestling, your trainer usually is a booked wrestler, meaning he goes to events every weekend and he wrestles throughout different small territories, throughout the Southeast or whatever district or area you're in. So he had Moondog Rex and a couple others had this show booked. I think my cousin Dig and cousin Moochie went. And by this time, they're starting to get older. They're starting to get away from the business side, the in-ring side. So, I was picking their brain about this and that, and training, getting the crap beat out of me. So usually a good promoter will let a trainer use his ring. So your trainer will go to the promoter and he'll say, hey, I've got a couple of guys that I've been training, a couple of guys that I've been working with, and I think they've got something in the training, and I would really like to borrow your ring and see what they've got. Let me run them. And if he's a good worker, a good wrestler, usually the promoter will be like, okay, hey, the show don't start at 7:30, so I will book your guys to come in. You bring them in about 2:30, let them run the ropes, get them used to that, and you might do that once or twice. You might do that a lot. It really depends on you. So there's another guy at this point that's training with me. His name is Mike. Mike didn't make it to Knoxville. Moondog wore Mike out one night, and Mike decided that he didn't want to be a professional wrestler anymore. They wore me out. I was bruised, bumped it, busted, but I never quit, and I think they just liked to gritty it. So Moondog started calling me Mad Dog. So I wrestled in the beginning. I wrestled under the name Mad Dog Dunn, and I hated that friggin' name. He loved the name Moondog. He was the Moondogs. They were the tag team, the Moondogs. And there was about 3 or 4 of those guys. But anyway, we're in Knoxville, and they're watching. Now, what's happening here is the promoter is watching the trainer to see if he's doing a good job training people. the trainer is watching me to make sure I'm not going to embarrass him in front of the promoter. Now, several things happen here. If the trainer has trained you right, if the trainer has trained you properly, and you've shown that you're learning everything, that looks good in front of the promoter on the trainer. So we're in Knoxville on a Saturday night, and we're backstage, and everybody's just kind of laughing and talking, and everybody's having this a great old time. And there's a guy now, gimmick buying or gimmick renting is something that it really don't happen a lot, but it has been known to happen. Now, if you were an NWA fan back in the 80s, you remember a wrestler by the name of the Tennessee Stud. He was a masked wrestler. So the Tennessee Stud would rent his gimmick out. If there was a guy in a territory that was kind of built like him, kind of had his look, then the Tennessee Stud would let them rent the gimmick. You know, that he would say, how long are you going to do the gimmick? Well, I want to run a storyline against so-and-so, and I want to use the Tennessee Stud gimmick to do it. Okay, how many matches? It'll probably be a 5-match series. All right, well, give me $100 per match. So he just made $500 off of his gimmick and didn't lift a finger. So that used to happen quite a bit under the table. So this particular night, you've got Tennessee Stud taking on Moondog, which those guys worked each other all over the South. And then you got me, and then you've got another person. Now, the other person at the time is a local Knoxville wrestler who goes by Little Ace. That's his wrestling handle, Little Ace. Now, Little Ace was probably about 5'7", 5'8". He weighed probably about 150, 160 pounds. I was a little taller, but I was probably in the 190 pound. I was probably in the 190, 180, 190. So you have different styles of wrestlers. You have grapplers, you have power wrestlers, and then you have high flyers. Then you have technical wrestlers. Moondog was a grappler, but he also was a technical wrestler. He knew how to get on the mat and tie you up like a pretzel. Believe me, I know, he did it to me. So this match is going to have a power wrestler. The Tennessee Stud, at this time, the Tennessee Stud gimmick guys was about 6'2" to 6'3", anywhere from about 235 pounds all the way up to 265 pounds. Now, this particular guy who was using the Tennessee Stud gimmick that night, he was 6'2". He was about 255 pounds. Big guy, power guy. So you got him. You got Moondog, which is about 300 pounds of meat. And then you got Little Ace and you got me. So Moondog says we're jerking the curtain tonight. That means we're opening the show. We're going to be the first match. Guys, when I tell you, he told me that, I was literally terrified. I was panicking. Because here's the problem with curtain jerking. You're setting the tone for the rest of the night. A good curtain jerking match can go out there, and a good curtain jerker can tell you what the crowd's into. Hey, they really like seeing guys going at it power. Hey, they really like high flying. They can kind of tell you what the crowd's biting on. And a lot of times you have a manager, a good manager can tell you what the crowd's into, what they're going to bite on, what they're enjoying. But Little Ace, guys, is the promoter's son. You got a guy named Tbone who is playing this Mad Dog gimmick, who's green as goose crap. You have Moondog Rex, who may or may not already be about a half of a quart into moonshine already. And then you have a guy who's renting a gimmick from another guy. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking every possible bad thing I'm like, dude, this is going to be a friggin' disaster. So we start talking about the match. Now, Moondog at this point is the veteran of the match. He's the one. He's been in the ring longer than any of us, so he's setting up shots. Him and the guy who was using the stud gimmick that night, they start talking, and I'm sitting there, and I actually got excited because these guys were used to singles competition. They were used to wrestling all over the South one-on-one. So I'm sitting there thinking, you know, we're going to be distractions out there for whatever's about to happen. So Stud says, well, didn't they tell you? And he said, what are you talking about? Moondog said, what are you talking about? He said, we got a 45-minute match. He said a bunch of people didn't show up, or a lot of workers didn't show up. So we got to fill time. So we go through everything that we're going to do. And if you're going to have a long tag match, usually you have 2 hot tags, maybe 3. So we get in the ring, the match starts out. It starts out with Moondog and the Stud. They're in the ring. They start the match. Going back and forth, powering, grappling. You know, they do this for several minutes. Nobody can get the upper hand. So Moondog tags me. So I come in, and of course the Stud, he don't tag Little Ace right out of the gate, which you wouldn't. That was proper. I get the best of him a couple of times. I knee him in the midsection. I attempt to pull the mask off one time, doing a heel. I'm playing, me and Moondog are the heels. We're the bad guys. The Stud and Little Ace are the hometown heroes, so we're the bad guys. So I'm heeling it up. Now, the Stud breaks free, and he goes to tag. He grabs me by the wrist, and he's pulling me toward his corner, and he's going to tag Little Ace. I break free, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. No, I'm not wrestling Little Ace. What I did right there was what Moondog told me to do. He said, no matter what we do out there tonight, he said, we have got to make the boss's kid look good. That was the whole point of this match, guys. So I'm doing it up, I'm healing it up, I'm selling it like Little Ace is the baddest man on the planet, and I don't want none of it. I don't want no smoke, I don't want none of it. So I break free, go back, tag Moondog. Now, Moondog comes back in, and Little Ace picks up the pace. They go at it. Moondog tags me. I do a couple of things I have a clothesline. I took a powder, went out, walked around the ring. You know, I'm healing it up, arguing with the people out there. I come back in. Me and Little Ace tangle up again. He hip tosses me. I come back up, he arm drags me. I come back up, he clothesline me. I go over, I scurry over to my corner, and I tag Moondog. Now this brings Moondog back into the match. This was the first hot tag, but it wasn't a hot tag. So Moondog comes back in, and Moondog has this thing in his gimmick, why they call him Moondog, where he hits the ground. He's on all fours, and he's hooping and hollering, and he's howling at the moon, and he's being the Moondog. And I'm standing in the corner thinking, don't touch him, don't touch him. Moondog Rex would do anything in a match he wanted to do, but when he was doing his Moondog gimmick, you didn't mess with him. I didn't know if Little Ace knew that or not. I just knew Little Ace and me both are rookies. Hell, at this point, Little Ace has been learning less time than me. So I'm thinking, man, don't touch Moondog. Moondog's going to come up, and he's going to beat the brakes off him. Little Ace didn't touch him. So he comes back up. They go, now it's hot tag time. I come in, the Stud comes in. On the first hot tag, the babies take over. So they're back on top. Me and Moondog are outside, walking around the ring. Man, I can't believe this nonsense. You believe we're letting these punks beat us like this? You know, doing the whole heel thing, being a bad guy, getting the crowd tore up. Went back in. Now it's me and Little Ace. Guys, Little Ace was such a naturally gifted wrestler. He made me, now he's wrestling less time than me. He's training less time than me. But he was so natural, he made me look like $1,000,000. He's drop kicking me and he's doing all this crazy stuff with arm bars. He's got me tied up on the mat. I'm trying to get the Moondog. Moondog's trying to get in to help me. We got a heel referee, which is a heel referee is someone who, he's going to favor the bad guys. He's going to turn low. He's going to turn a blind eye to that low blow. Or he's not going to see you rake somebody's eyes. He's a bad referee. So we're going at it. We're going at it. Here come the second hot tag. And then I hear take it home. So the finish of the match was going to be, everybody was going to hit a finishing move. Moondog hit the double underhook DDT on the stud. Little Ace come in and he hit a, what you would call a Steiner line or a Hurricane Rana or a Frankensteiner in the middle of the ring. He jumped up. Now a front flip in the ring too, guys. If you ever hear me say front falling tree, that's what a front flip's called, where you do like the suplex and you do a arm drag and a hip toss. It's a front falling tree. So he hits the Hurricane Rana. Then I hit Little Ace with a, it was basically a diamond cutter, but I kneed him in the stomach. I ran off, I hit the rope in front of him, I ran past him, and I hit the rope behind him. And when I come around him after I hit the rope that was behind him, I hooked him under the chin and I took him down. They call it a reverse bulldog, which we would know it being now a diamond cutter. But back then they just called it a reverse bulldog. Because you would take a bulldog, you get them under, you know, you would wrap this arm around their neck and you would slam their face in the mat. Well, I did it backwards and I landed flat on my back, which that meant Little Ace was as safe as if he was in his mama's arms. I took all of the punishment for the move, which we'll get into that one of these stories. I'll break down the move set. So Little Ace is down. When I come back up, guys, I got hit, and this ain't no lie. I have only come close to being knocked out twice. I have only been knocked out in my life one time, and that was in a motorcycle wreck. I got hit under the chin with an uppercut by the Tennessee stud. He hit me so hard under the chin, I damn near was knocked out. He falls on top of me, covers me 1, 2, 3. Of course, the stud and Little Ace are the hometown boys won the match. Guys, I laid in the center of that ring with Moondog over there going, kid, oh my God, kid. I said, shut up, Moondog, I'm selling it. Selling it means I was knocked out, but I woke up and I realized what was happening. So if somebody's playing like they're hurt, it's called selling it. So I was selling it. I was groggy. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't get up. Moondog's groggy because they just wore us out. We powder out of the ring. That was the first time I was ever paid for being in a match. And I got regular bookings from that company until they went out of business. Guys, Moondog brought the envelope to the car. And he said, we got paid. I said, really? He said, man, we made the boss's son look like $1,000,000. And I thought, okay, probably $25, $50. That's normally what you get paid, if you get paid at all. A lot of times on the independent circuit, you don't even get paid. I said, all right, cool. He handed me $500, guys. This was in 1994, 95, 94. My first real wrestling match, a tag team match, I got paid $500. He paid us $1,000, $500 a piece. Guys, me and Moondog came home and we were on cloud 9. No, sorry about that, guys. Had to pull over, had a phone call. That was a scam artist. But anyway, I've had people ask me, they say, we watch wrestling and we hear people talk about paying their dues. What does that mean? Well, paying your dues in wrestling is the way you train. Traveling. Doing those little shows that don't pay nothing or only pay $25, $10, $5. You do that. You travel from town to town, place to place. That's called paying your dues. You do the favors. Doing a favor is putting somebody over. Like that night, Moondog and me put the Tennessee Stud, and Little Ace over. Made Ace look like $1 million. All that stuff comes back to you as you get in. People start trusting you. You start getting to be a veteran in the business. You get more bookings. And one day we'll talk about the structure of wrestling. But I just wanted to come out here, guys, and give you another wrestling story. I wanted to ride with my new helmet on for the first time. Wanted to try my new boom out. I'm going to have to tinker with this new mic boom just a little bit. Not nothing bad, but I am going to tinker with it just a little bit. But, yeah, man, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the wrestling stories. Y'all asked for it, so I'm just giving you what you want. Usually Daddy don't give you what you want, but he always gives you what you need. But this time I'm going to give you what you want. But yeah, guys, wrestling changed, and we'll talk about all that if I keep going with these wrestling stories. Like I said, if y'all are enjoying this, we'll keep doing it. But I think for now, guys, I'm going to go home now and see what R1's going to feed me for supper tonight. And I got to get ready for the event tomorrow. Anyway. But, guys, until the next time, y'all remember to go check out some of the old videos if you're new here. If you like what you see, think about maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Rolling with Tbone crew. But guys, until the next time, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and hey, thanks for watching.